everybody, it's Chris Marshall of the Payne Street team, brought to you by Payne Auto Group Valley-wide and PayneAutoGroup.com, where we have what you want. Lo que tú quieres, regardless. It's time for another edition of Payne Auto Talk. And this week we have with us the lovely Miss Kristi Collier of Welcome Home RGV. And away we go. And today we have the lovely Ms. Kristi Collier from Welcome Home RGV. How you doing, ma'am?
I'm doing great. It's January.
Yes,
it's the best time of the year.
The best time of the year for you. And as it's been said in the past, you are the official, unofficial Winter Texan. What is it called? The Chamber of Commerce.
Yes, I've also been called the Pied Piper.
The Pied Piper. I got you.
Yeah, it's been an incredible ride. We've been doing this for 16 years, and the best way to describe what we do is if you think about a Chamber of Commerce for Winter Texans. That's a great analogy. But we do a lot of different things, and it's been really a fun ride because we've just kind of made it up as we go along.
Yeah, and you came up with, it's Welcome Home RGV, and that's for our listeners. That's the Rio Grande Valley, the bottom part of Texas, from the tip of Brownsville to how far do y'all span?
We go all the way to Rio Grande City, really. Our RV parks that we work with are in Palmview.
Okay.
To Port Isabel, South Padre.
Wow.
So, but we include Rio Grande City in our marketing materials and all of that.
Awesome. And our winter visitors, we call them Winter Texans, is because they're retirees and pensioners, and they come down here for the weather, and they don't like digging snow, and they love the tropics down here with us, our subtropical region.
Absolutely. There are 3 really retirement destinations, Florida, Arizona, and Texas. And word's getting out that Texas is a lot more fun and a lot more affordable than other retirement destinations. And so last season we had quite a few people who were misplaced from the Florida hurricanes that chose Texas for the first time. And it's really interesting to hear their take on what makes the valley so much better than other destinations.
And that's a great focus group for you, too.
Absolutely. You know, Winter Texans are, we have over 100,000 that come to our area each winter.
Wow.
So with 300 more or less RV parks, retirement communities across the valley. And so, they're a huge economic driver to our region, and spend about $1.2 billion in our region every winter. So there's a lot more than just happy hours and bingo. There's a lot of strategy in what we do. It's every time I turn around, I see a different opportunity or a different angle or a different way that our Winter Texans make an impact on our community.
Awesome. Yeah, it used to be the stereotype, I remember back in the day, of it looked like the movie Cocoon, where people are just playing shuffleboard and riding a bicycle. Now it's a whole lot more.
It is. It's and maybe it's because I'm nearing that golden age, the double nickel, 55. But Winter Texans aren't quite as old as they used to be.
No, it's a younger crowd.
It is a younger crowd, and I think that people can come down here and really just not escape the cold weather, but escape all the noise, if you will, and they can just finally be who they want to be, and they have a great time while they're here. It's kind of like spring break for grown-ups.
Yeah, they get out of the hustle and bustle of all that jazz. And some of them live here permanently.
Absolutely. We found that, a number of our Winter Texans, after they've been doing this 6 or 7 years, their kids are scattered across the country, and they decide, what, we like the valley, we like Texas, we're going to call it our permanent home. And so we call those our converted Texans. So,
our implants.
Yeah. So, and we have a whole set of programming that's specific to them too, because that's my end game. If I could get every Winter Texan to go through that conversion process, I will have felt like I did my job. Because again, the converted Texans are the ones that spend money here year round, not just all winter. So, the more we can, educate them and plant those seeds that, hey, the valley's a great place to live permanently. That's where the money is.
Yeah. like you were talking about, cocktail hour. I know they like the, what's it called? Border buttermilk.
Border buttermilk.
That's
yes.
right. Oh, yeah. And they trips to Mexico. I know they do a lot of trips. And so not only are you the welcome wagon, but also you also have trips of your own. And one's coming up, is it not?
Yes, we have an annual cruise. We have it's the cruise with Kristi.
Mm-hmm.
That's me. And this year we have 310 cruisers going with us out of a Royal Caribbean out of Galveston. So we have 6 motor coaches. So watch out. Here we come.
And how many people did you originally start with? This was a couple of years ago, right?
Yes. The first year was 6 or 7 years ago, and we had about 80. And so we've really grown.
I was about to say, you thought that was a lot of people.
We thought that was a lot of people. So 310. And we have, we do everything for our cruisers. We hold their hand throughout the trip. Where each bus has a bus leader that we're assigned to, and it's just a lot of fun. Group travel is so much fun. I don't know if I'll travel any other way. It's just a lot of fun to go with a group.
Awesome. And we got that cruise going on, and that's coming up
February 3rd, I think.
Wow. And okay. And that's all. Everybody's already paid up. There's no more slots.
Yes, we're sold out. So
wow.
Yeah, it's really great.
When's the next one?
I personally, I would like to just go on cruises, but we have another one going in November.
Awesome. So maybe in the future there'll be a summer one.
Yeah.
Who knows, for the permanent transplants.
Absolutely.
Now, there is a big event of yours coming up, and that is the Winter Texan Expo.
The Winter Texan Expo.
Dun, dun, dun.
This is the 31st annual, and so I bought the show in 2014.
Okay.
So it's been ours. It's funny because even before we bought the show, a lot of people thought it was mine anyway. Mm-hmm. So when the promoter was ready to kind of retire, I said, yes, I want it, and I want it now because everybody thinks it's my show anyway. So it's a great way to showcase all that the Valley has to offer. For one, our vendors are incredible, and they come from all over the Valley, but all over the state and even all over the country.
Yeah.
So
Oklahoma,
yes,
the state of Oklahoma, they have their big booth there.
Absolutely.
Cool,
so it's a great way for us to showcase the best of the best, but it's also an incredible opportunity to welcome our Winter Texans and show them that South Texas hospitality. It's a free event. There's no admission to get in, and we have live entertainment throughout the day and door prizes, and there's so much to learn about our area. So it's a really great opportunity. So we have this year we're branching out. We have 2 days in McAllen, January 16th and 17th, and this is our first year to bring the Winter Texan Expo to Brownsville. So we are doing that on January 18th.
Wow. So, wow, it's officially a chain now.
Absolutely. Awesome. So it's really great. The city of Brownsville has welcomed us with open arms, and they're our big sponsor for that event. And we're excited to be able to bring what we do in McAllen to the lower valley. And because even though our Winter Texans will go from McAllen to Brownsville and Brownsville to McAllen, we also want them to feel like they're also a part of who we are. So that's kind of fun.
Awesome. And so this is Welcome Home RGV, welcomehomorgv.com, also on Facebook and everywhere else. We've got the cruises, we've got the expo, and I believe there's something else coming up in February, is there not? Something with some motorcycles and whatnot?
Yeah, we're going to have a poker run and a ride to South Padre on February 24th. So stay tuned for more information on that. It's going to be really fun.
Awesome.
We do a lot here, all in an effort to enhance the Winter Texan experience, and whether that's from gathering information. The interesting thing about Winter Texans is that prospective retirees don't know they're Winter Texans until they hit Texas for the first time. In their mind, they're snowbirds. Mm-hmm. So we have to educate them on being a Winter Texan rather than a snowbird. But their wants and needs are this new generation, if you will, has a different way of doing things. And so, it's classic rock and roll, is where it's at these days. They're bringing their motorcycles. They're playing pickleball. I remember when I started this 16 years ago, there was rumors about this game called pickleball. And now pickleball is everywhere.
Yeah, my
it's a
kids
big
have
deal.
picked it up.
Yeah. So a lot has changed just in the years that I've been doing this. But we have to remember that our customer changes too. And so we have to adapt our events and our activities and our programming to reflect what that next generation is looking for.
Yeah, and I've noticed it too, playing a couple of parks with the Bottom Line Band, and we still play classic country and whatnot, but all of a sudden the classic rock aspect, it used to be bop, Chuck Berry and Elvis and stuff, and now we're playing, was it the Cars?
Yeah,
we're playing the Cars and Joe Walsh and Tom Petty, and I'm like, wow, this is really changing.
It really is.
Yeah.
It really is. And so, that can be a challenge, but also an opportunity. Sometimes, we work with our activity directors very closely, and, that's what we're hearing from them is, how do I balance the wants of the older generation, but still attract that younger generation? And so it's interesting.
Yeah, and you're helping with the assimilation process too.
Yes. So we have next week, January 9th and 10th, we have the Entertainer Showcase, which we took over last year, which we have 60 entertainers come and perform. They've got 9 minutes to perform in front of all the activity directors, because entertainment is a huge part of the Winter Texan experience. And, you can go to any RV park and they've either got a jam session going on or a happy hour or, some sort of music involved. And so the audiences are our activity directors, and so they get to hear 9 minutes of someone perform and hopefully book them for the next season.
It's an audition showcase.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Awesome.
Absolutely. So,
And how did you get into this? Like what you woke up one day and said, I'm going to help these folks out, or what happened?
It's an interesting story. I'm from McAllen originally, so I've always been around Winter Texans. Never known life without them, actually.
Same here.
Always had kind of this little side project, doing little coupon books that were sold through school groups and nonprofits. And I had a real job, and in 2007, I was laid off from that real job. And so all of a sudden, this little coupon book had to pay for groceries and, things like that. So I thought, who likes coupons more than our Winter Texans? And so that's kind of how it started. I just went, started making really great connections with activity directors, and to see if they would sell my coupon books in through their office, and learned very quickly that there was a need for some organization to kind of really protect and take care of the Winter Texans that come to South Texas. I mean, our municipalities and our chambers, they do a great job welcoming, but that's just for their community. There wasn't a regional approach to protecting that demographic. And so that's kind of how it started. I mean, I saw a really, bad magazine, and I thought I could do better than that. And there was a couple of websites that I thought, I don't know anything about website design, but I think I can do better than that. And that's kind of how it started. I was talking to a friend of mine and saying, I'm going to put together this magazine, a directory of services that is, unique to the 55 plus market. And she said, how much is a half page ad? I said, $500. She wrote me a check. I needed the money. And that's how we got started.
Man.
I was pulling numbers from the sky and thinking, okay, now I guess I need a graphic designer.
Yeah, and now it's now from all that, and you're probably operating right out of your living room.
Absolutely.
Cottage industry. And here we are in your conference room.
Yes.
I know. It's what happens when you grow.
Kind of all grown up.
Yes, and so it started in 2007?
Yes.
Wow. Wow, it's getting close.
Yeah, it's crazy. And so, we kind of piddled with our directory for a couple of years, and then we went to a monthly newsletter. And then when it was really, the turning point was in 2014 when we bought the Winter Texan Expo. I needed to have a little bit more frequency with our Winter Texans, and so that's when we made the switch to a weekly newspaper. So we published 22 weekly newspapers as well.
Wow. That's... You're everywhere.
We try to be.
Yeah. And so, what besides the cruises and stuff? You mean you're gonna stay on this row, on this direction? And how is it going to expand? I know the valley is getting bigger because of construction, and I know that some parks are, management changes hands, and also, but some parks are. It's funny because some parks have disappeared, like the interchange here at 281
Holiday Village.
Yeah, I mean, I still look over there, and I can still see the remnants and the rows of that park, and the concrete jungle has grown along 83, but there's still some hidden gems out there. Are there any new parks being constructed?
Not that I'm aware of. We have one fairly new park, Tropical Trails in Brownsville.
Nice.
That's probably been 3 years since it opened, but it's not really a Winter Texan community, if you will. I mean, Winter Texans are welcome, but it's more for anyone who wants to hang out by the beach, but not stay on the beach. It's a really beautiful park. So I can't think of any, really new parks, but yeah, they change hands quite frequently, and management changes and things like that. It's never a dull moment in our world.
Yeah, it's no joke. It's even though the valley seems quiet, but I know the last time I remember, we're like the 5th fastest growing place in the nation.
It's crazy.
And there's always some new construction company coming out. So I'm curious, and part of the reason is So let me see the design of your dance hall. I want to see that.
Yeah, exactly.
Like when Mission Bell, they redid theirs. I mean, that's a big hall too.
Yeah.
So
it's a very interesting world that I live in, and you get to see it too.
Yes.
But you think about not having to worry about just about anything. If you pick the right park with the right people. The people are what make it. And so, then you have activities all day long. You can stay as busy or as unbusy as you want to be. My favorite thing about the parks is there's always food. So who has to cook,
Yeah.
And, you have people who will look after you. There's exercise, there's golf, there's this, there's that. There's so many things to do. It just sounds lovely.
And there's still some traditional stuff. I think the boys and I were playing recently at Rio Valley Estates, and they had a breakdown. I mean, they had a quilting club, and they had a breakdown of what it takes to make a quilt and the amount of effort in it. I went, wow.
Speaking of quilts, Winter Texans bring so much to our area as far as spending their money, but philanthropy is another thing that we just if I can say one thing, it's we take that for granted. They support our nonprofit organizations, they support our schools, they support needy families, and quilting is one way that our quilters give back. Is they do handmade quilts for cancer patients and for the hospitals and things like that. So that's and
a lot of volunteer work. So there's in addition to just cash donations. So Winter Texans are an important part of our ecosystem, if you will, and I like to use the hashtag Winter Texans mean business, because that's the truth. They do. They create jobs, they create wealth. It's a really incredible when you can kind of take a step back and look at the overall big picture. Oh yeah, plumbing, HVAC,
absolutely,
even in automotive. I mean, for those who travel with their trailers, and which sometimes these motor coaches, I think a NASCAR team is pulling up. I'm like, that's nicer than my place.
Absolutely.
And somebody has to fix it. Somebody has to service it. And Yeah, it's there's a lot of places. I'll even say this: when my folks were still around, they were getting on in their years, and all of a sudden they're hanging out with the Winter Texan crowd, and they're from down here. And people would ask, what park are you from? And Mom and Dad would laugh. We live in a grove,
right?
And Mom and Dad would bring fruit, to them and stuff. It was pretty cool.
Well, our Winter Texans are a very welcoming bunch too. It's that, Midwest influence, if you will. It's incredible.
And the Canadians have gotten in on it too.
Absolutely.
They don't like shoveling that snow either.
No, sir. No, sir.
And a lot of the veteran community too. There's a lot of military veterans and law enforcement. And we thank them, and it's nice getting their take on things.
Absolutely.
They are. I tell you what. During happy hour, they can. They are funny.
It is funny. I'll share something with you. Our phones ring off the wall at the office until about 3:00, and then it's crickets.
That's when the blender starts. Yeah,
it's really funny. About 3:00 every day, everybody's at happy hour.
Yeah, and there's times I visit parks and I'm there doing my thing, and all of a sudden, hey, come on over. It's like I drive a company car. I can't. Oh, come on, just for a little while. It's like a little while turns into a longer while. It's like I'm still working. Oh, you still have a job? Yeah, okay, kid. So, several of the people you have working here, some are Winter Texans.
We have Fran Adams is our resident activity director, if you will. She was actually the activity director at Trophy Gardens in Alamo for many years. And so when I was trying to figure out, okay, where do I fit in this? What am I really trying to do? She had retired from being the activity director, and so I just called her and I said, hey, would you want to come and kind of consult me on and she'll be the first to tell you that's just stupid.
Fran, I'm familiar with Fran. She says it like it is. Right when you said Trophy Gardens and then Fran, I went, I know who you're talking
exactly
about. That is a no nonsense gal.
Absolutely. And so she, it's really helpful to have our friends and people that we can ask questions about. Hey, what do you think about this? Do you think this will fly? Is there a need for this? And so Fran is our resident Winter Texan. But we, Kurt and Stella, they live at Alamo Country Club. Kurt's an entertainer as well. So we have a really great team.
Yeah, that to keep your finger on the pulse. It's good to have insiders.
Absolutely.
So,
and we have really great relationships with the activity directors and the managers in the park too, and they rely on us for a lot. We've become friends along the way too. So I have a lot of people on speed dial that I can call and ask for help, or if I have questions, or sometimes we do little mini surveys like what's occupancy looking like, and things like that. So they're as my daddy would say, it's the Mutual Admiration Society.
Yeah, I got you. And also with the internet now, and of course technology. With all your social media, it's constant. Is it a bombardment?
It is crazy. It's hard for me to imagine that I started out doing this on my own. And now we have someone who's dedicated to our social media. You have to, and we have to be everywhere. And thankfully, I have a team that very rarely says no.
That helps.
Yeah.
I got an idea. Okay, boss. Oh, here we go. Down the rabbit hole. I got you. And being from down here, you're from McAllen, and you went to school down here.
Yep.
But did you go out into the world and see a whole lot of the outside the valley, and you've kind of used that down here?
Sort of. I was one of those that couldn't wait to come back.
I got you.
I love being. The valley is, you can just be yourself. I went to school in Austin at Concordia Lutheran College. I moved to Austin with hopes of going to UT, but crossing the drag with 10,000 other people just wasn't my cup of tea. I'm a small town girl, if you will. McAllen's not so small anymore, but it just, that feeling it gave me anxiety, just all the people. And so I went to a small college, Concordia Lutheran. There were 800 students.
Wow.
When I went. Yeah, my graduating class was 27. So I'm all about that small town. I like to fish in a small pond.
I got you.
Yeah. So after that, my husband, he's from McAllen too. We moved to Dallas after we got married and lived there for a year. He was already working there.
Dallas?
Yeah. Forget about it. It was beautiful. We had friends there and all of those things, but I just couldn't wait to come back home.
Yeah, I don't know if I could do Dallas.
Yeah.
I could do San Antonio. Yeah. Suburb of San Antonio. Yeah. Dallas, that's... I've driven in that traffic. Mm-hmm. Oh, my Lord.
Yeah.
You're a better person than I.
Yeah. No, it was time to come home, and I just love it here. I love everything about the valley.
Yeah, when you start seeing those palm trees on 281 or 77, it's like, oh, yeah.
We need more palm trees, though.
Yeah, the palm trees are kind of... Well, some people are planting new ones here and there, but...
You want to know something interesting?
What you got?
Palm trees. If you're driving down the highway in the valley and you see large concentrations of palm trees, 9 times out of 10, it's an RV park.
I never thought of it like that.
Victoria Palms has over 1,000 palm trees. This was so intriguing to me because you think about, as a kid, I remember the palm trees were everywhere. And we've lost a lot of them due to, freezes, hurricanes. I even think that there was an eradication way back when.
Like a root rot or something.
Yeah,
in the species
something like that. And so, it really... I'm on the road a lot, driving up and down the valley, and I say, okay, that's Palm Shadows. Okay, that's Casa del Valle. Watch the next time. And so we did a survey. I'll have to find the numbers for you on how many palm trees do you have. You start thinking about, the numbers were crazy. I'm going to look that up.
Go for it.
Because you talk about who's making money, the palm tree trimmers.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's another business right there.
Yep.
I remember being on road trips to go visit my dad's parents up in Taylor, which is up by Austin. And my dad, being the artist that he was, he did this really cool painting of a windmill, and he gave it to his mother. And my sister had this fascination with windmills. And I think Amber, she... counted 70-something windmills.
Wow.
Leaving Mission, going up to...
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so
those were active, not those little fake ones that you put in your yard, like decor,
Okay, so I lied. Victoria Palms doesn't have 1,000.
Oh.
They have 2,246 palm trees. Rio Grande is number 2 with 2,000 palm trees. And the average is probably about 300 palm trees
per park.
And maybe even higher than that.
And we used to see them everywhere. Mm-hmm. I mean, of course, for our listeners out there in the Rio Grande Valley, that's back when the highway was just a 2-lane. The 83 was a 2-lane, and it was Orange Grove, Onion Field, Orange Grove, watermelons. I mean, back. I think the artist's name. Oh Lord, help me, Salazar. And at the Weslaco Chamber of Commerce and City Hall over there, the old Albertsons, they have his artwork on the wall, and I call those windows in time. Mm-hmm. And I got to meet him a while back, and of course, being me, I went, "Hey, why don't you ever paint a crop duster in there? An old Rockwell Thrush, or not an air tractor, but maybe an old Stearman or something, or an ag wagon or an ag cat." And he goes, "I never thought about that." And he's put trucks in there, but growing up, it's always palm trees, an orange grove, a field growing aloe vera or something. And all of a sudden, there's big old yellow crop duster just sitting there pitching up and spraying. It's like, wow, that's the valley I grew up in.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's not the valley. It's not the valley we remember, but it's very exciting too. I think here in South Texas, you can do more faster. Yeah. I think about what I'm doing here with Welcome Home RGV, and there's no way I could have made this happen in Dallas.
Yeah, this has been a little bit of a challenge. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, I'm very grateful to be home and to be, doing something for my community, and it's just fun.
And your kiddo, you think one day she'll take it over, or she's got her own thing going on right now?
She's got her own thing going on. I think it'll be interesting to see how that goes. But yeah, the thing I love most about our work environment is we have a very talented team of women who are looking for a creative outlet, ways to they all have kids, or most of them have kids at home, and a flexible schedule, working around the school calendar, and still feeling like they're doing meaningful work. And so I'm thrilled to be able to provide that opportunity. We have a really great team.
Well, I'll say nature abhors a vacuum, and you've filled a particular niche, and it's kind of hard to beat.
Yeah,
I'll say that.
It's fun.
Yeah, and every time I see the color orange, which is like the official color of Welcome Home RGV, I see something orange, I think, is Kristi over there? Are they setting up something? Who are these people? Is there an event? I'll call Donna. Hey, is there anything going on with the Welcome Home? Why? I see a bunch of orange stuff over here. So
it's funny because people say, why orange? I'm like, well, it's my favorite color. And if you remember the early days, it was originally red. But I had 2 shirts that we had our logo put on. And if I wore that shirt, people would recognize me. If I didn't, they were like, who are you again? This early on. And by the end of that season, my red shirts were maroon from all the laundry. Yeah. And I live in a Longhorn house. So that was not acceptable. Yeah. But orange has always been my favorite color. And it's a happy color, too. And, I knew it was working when I had an activity director email me in the off season a photo of something she had found at Walmart that was orange, and she said, I think you'd like this. So there you go.
Yeah, and it is a signal color, is to get people's attention. Those orange cones out there, is that y'all too? No, I'm just kidding. Is that construction, or has Kristi got an event?
It's amazing what all you can find in orange.
It definitely stands out, and you definitely stand out.
Wow.
And it's great partnering up with you on stuff, and it's I can't wait to see what the future holds with y'all. It's something exciting.
Yep.
When y'all going to start doing air shows? I'm just kidding.
No.
Kidding, not kidding. I know.
Yeah.
We've
got enough on our plate, but never say never.
I know, no joke. There might be a balloon fest or something.
Maybe.
Who knows? Yikes. But that's me wishing on a star. Who knows? But
never know.
So you grew up here in McAllen, and you remember how it was. And I remember when Jackson was a dirt road. Remember that?
Yeah. I remember when north of Nolana, like the Country Place subdivision on 2nd Street, was out in the boonies.
Yeah.
I mean, I used to have to take a friend of mine's little brother home after school, and I mean, it was a dirt road. So, yeah.
Yeah, I remember going up 2nd Street there at we just called it 2nd Street Bridge. A buddy of mine lived over there at Lake James, and there was a member of our crew who was very, how do you say, culinary. He liked cooking. So we'd sit there, and we'd go over there and park our cars. He'd have some food, and some guys would even cast a line, and we had a boom box going, or our car stereos going, and we're just hanging out, just being kids. And it's nowhere now. It's like homes and stuff.
Absolutely.
It's wild.
It's crazy.
And now, when you were cruising around, of course, this is Payne Auto Talk. What was your first car?
My first car was a 1977 Chevette.
Nice.
I loved that car. It was a 4-door hatchback. It was a kind of a burnt orange. I loved that car. I still dream about that car.
It's a classic now.
No power steering, no power brakes. It was AM radio, solid gold. Saturday night is what we used to listen to. I have very fond memories of that car.
Oh, man. Well, maybe, who knows, in a park there's one underneath a tarp that
Probably.
Yeah, a couple $100, it can be yours.
Yeah.
The Welcome Home Mobile.
Yep. It was a great car, though.
Cool.
Loved it.
And when you said it was AM only.
AM only. And for my 17th birthday, my parents bought me a radio with a cassette player.
Oh, for the car.
Yes. Yeah. And yeah.
Styling.
Yes.
And what tapes were you putting in there?
Well, you mentioned the Cars earlier. I loved the Cars greatest hits. Steve Miller Band.
Yep.
Okay. Erasure, of course. Depeche Mode. You know, I had a wide range of music. You know, 80s dance music is kind of my favorite. But trying to think what else. Steve Miller Band, the Cars, Howard Jones. I loved that one. Eddie Money.
Oh yeah.
I love Eddie Money. Pet Shop Boys.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Yeah, that's ringing a bell. It's like that's my sister's tape collection right there. Yep. Let's see. There was an 80s compilation tape she had. It had all sorts of, had Flock of Seagulls and stuff like that.
Moody Blues. We had some fun driving around that car. Because I'm an October birthday, so I was driving before all of my friends. And
with
so,
4 doors,
yes,
you were the taxi?
Yes, and I loved every minute of it. I had a friend who lived out at Lake James, so I would leave early, go pick him up, and then do carpool. You know, I'd pick everybody up along the way, and just give me a little gas money.
Yeah. That's my buddy Kirk. He was from Lake James, and he had a little 88 CRX. That thing was hot, man. I'd sit there with pocket change, and this is back, 88 cents a gallon. I'm like, dude, I got like $5 in change. He goes, we're putting gas in the car, and we're going to get some Slurpees. I'm like, yeah. Or slushies. 7-Eleven, they were here, they went away, they came back. Yeah. Remember cruising 10th? That was like the big thing.
It was the thing, and going to Mr. Gaddy's when it was over on Nolana.
The mill? Remember the mill?
Yes. You know, funny story about my cute little car. My friends used to call me Glass Packs. That was my nickname for many, many years because apparently when you have a hole in your muffler, it causes some noise. So I didn't know. I had the music blaring so loud, I never heard it, but they would call me Glass Packs.
Oh, yeah. I actually had a glass pack on when I got my grandfolks' Suburban. Yeah. I had one on. I was like, hey, what's this? They go, that's a glass pack muffler. I'm like, I'm putting that on there. It sounded awesome. It was very annoying.
Yeah.
Plus, if and when I had a girlfriend back then, her folks knew when, we drive away and pull up. It's like, I better hear your muffler at this time. You got, yes, sir. Not a problem. So, yeah, good times. So, whatever happened to that Chevette? It just had to go away? It finally gave up the ghost?
I think it was when I was getting ready to go off to college. My parents probably didn't think it was the best to travel. I don't know.
Did you tear up?
I got a Chevy Corsica.
Oh, yeah.
I loved that car, too.
I remember, Army buddy of mine, his wife had one. Man, we went everywhere in that thing. Wow. Dang. So, you're a Chevy gal?
I am.
Oh, man. What are you driving now?
Well, let's edit this one out.
No, that's all right.
I have a cute little SUV Mercedes.
That's fine. Hey, we have those too, pre-owned.
Well, I told Craig to be on the lookout for a new one.
Oh, yeah.
Well, a new old one. I'm all about the used car.
Yeah, that's one thing. It's if you're on a budget, nothing wrong with something lightly loved.
I love that. I mean, why pay? Well, you can
some people don't
edit this out too. Why pay full price?
No. It's like with guitars. Like I remember buying guitars off the rack, and I end up changing out some of the electronics or other stuff. And recently, thank you, Facebook Marketplace.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
Oh my God, that is what a dumpster fire for me. No, it's the fact of somebody goes, oh, I've got these guitar parts and it's next to nothing. I'm like, well, if my parts kind of wear out, at least okay, I've got those. And all of a sudden, I'm sitting here and I'm like, where's all these parts? And I started amassing them, and I went, well, I can build a guitar now, and that's what I did. And I built one. I'm like, okay. Something happens to this one, I won't cry as much. So that'll be my travel one, for going on the road.
Well,
or flying.
I have a thing for furniture, so I love antique furniture, and so Facebook Marketplace, I'm like, no, not today. Not today.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem.
Antiquing.
It has to be today.
Oh,
and I
man.
don't have time today. So.
Yeah, but yeah. Oh, man. I know it's like it's like, I'm just going to click on this just for a second. And I've passed some stuff up before, and my buddies are like, man, you're an idiot. I would have gotten that. I'm like, well, go ahead.
That's right.
Or, hey, or we'll do that for each other. Hey, there's a guy over in your part of town. Can you go, if I cash app you, or can you get it to me? I'll pay you at the gig. Yeah, man, it's cool. And all of a sudden we're...
Well, you have to also watch out for the location-based stuff, because I bought a table. I thought, man, this is a great table, $100. I bought it, not realizing it was in Georgetown.
Oh, up by Austin, Santone, yeah.
So apparently my location was based on the last time I was there.
Yep.
So luckily my daughter lives there. So
yeah, I was...
like, guess what you're doing this afternoon?
Yeah, I was in Seattle, and I didn't realize, I'd come back, and I went, whoa, this is really cheap. All of a sudden, I went, wait a minute. Mm-hmm. It's like they took a picture of this guitar outside or something, and I'm going, why is there a mountain in the background?
Right.
Oh, that's... I had to check my location. Yeah. So, yeah. Buyer beware.
That's right.
That's right. So you're listening to all that stuff. And here, of course, the musical portion of Payne Auto Talk. You get to choose the song, and I get to play it. Usually it's country and rock. But we were listening to, was it Howard Jones?
Howard Jones, No One Is to Blame. It's a really great story.
Yeah.
Or song. The story is you can't always get what you want.
Oh, man, it sounds like the Stones. You got me. Yeah, and I heard a little snippet of it here earlier, and I went, oh, that's cool.
It's one of those songs that just transports me back to... the 1980s.
Yeah.
And I love it. And every time I hear it, it gives me goosebumps.
Yeah, it's like a warm blanket. I was talking about that in a previous episode, and how everything is circular and it's coming back, and the 80s are coming back.
As long as the leg warmers don't come back.
Hey, the mullets are back, man. It's back. I see guys younger than me, they're like, hey, what's going on? I'm like, hey, what's going on with you? What's up with your hair? What do you mean, man? This is the style. I'm like, in 85.
Right.
But all right. Yeah, that's cool. I used to have big sideburns. I had big chops. And that was kind of a Neil Young thing, but nah.
I had a perm.
Oh.
I had the big, it was big, a perm and bangs.
Looking like coming out of was it Napoleon Dynamite?
Oh, yeah. It was bad.
Oh, man. A perm.
It was horrible. I don't know what I was thinking.
And leg warmers. When the Barbie Corvette came out, it was like a big thing. Was that Gremlins? Yeah.
Gremlins, yeah.
Gizmo drove it. God. The 80s are here. Well, MTV. The video, yeah. And what was that first video? Video killed the radio star. That was the Bungles. Wow. And you're talking about, when you start talking about dance music, I'm sitting here and I hear Billy Idol dancing with my set. And I'm going, oh, wow. And who was that one band? I want candy.
I don't remember who that one was.
I remember the beach scene. The girl, she had a mohawk. The whole visual. But yeah, it's coming around. Who knows? Maybe, I know Winter Texans do their theme parties, like they do their Halloween parties and whatnot. Who knows? They might do an 80s thing.
Well, I've already, said it, so it's out there. When I turn 55, I'm having an 80s dance party. 2 years. 2 years. Yeah, because you think about it, 55, most of our RV parks are 55 plus, which is just mind-boggling to think, because I don't feel 53. And when I talk to even my 80-year-old Winter Texans, they're like, I don't feel 80. Age is only a number. You're only as old as you think you are. And some days I feel every bit of 80, but most of the time I feel 17, 18, 19,
Yeah. My dad kind of said the same thing. He says, man, I woke up this morning, I'm ready to take on the world. I look in the mirror and this old man's looking at me, and I said, what'd you do? He goes, oh, I yelled at him for a little bit. How dare you get old?
And then I quit looking in the mirror.
Yeah. That's another song. I don't go around mirrors anymore. God bless you, the late, great Daryl Singletary, one of my heroes. Yeah, but so it's Howard Jones.
Howard Jones. No one is to blame.
No one is to blame by Howard Jones. When you first brought it up, I'll say this. You said, "Oh yeah, Howard Jones." I'm thinking that's an investment firm or something. The stock market's up with Howard Jones.
Mm-hmm. Yep. No, it's great music.
Cool. Well, I will definitely get that out for you right now. Okay, Kristi, we don't own the rights to this song, but Mr. Howard Jones sure does. You can look at the menu, but you just can't eat. You can feel the cushions, but you can't have a seat. You dip your foot in the pool, but you can't have a swim. You can feel all the punishment, but you can't commit the sin. And you want her, and she wants you. We want everyone, and you want her, and she wants you. No one ever is to blame. You can build a mansion, but you just can't live in. You're the fastest runner, but you're not allowed to win. Some break the rules and live to count the cost. The insecurity is the thing that won't get lost. And you want her, and she wants you. We want everyone, and you want her, and she wants you. No one ever is to blame. You can see the summit, but you just can't reach it. It's the last piece of the puzzle, but you can't make it fit. Doctor said you could, but you still feel the pain. Aspirations in the clouds, but your hopes go right down the drain. And you want her, and she wants you. We want everyone, and you want her, and she wants you. No one ever is to blame. No one ever is to blame. No one ever is to blame. Well, that brings us up to an end of another episode of Payne Auto Talk. I've been here with the lovely Ms. Kristi Collier from Welcome Home RGV and WelcomeHomeRGV.com. Kristi, thank you very much for joining us today. What do you have in closing?
I just am very grateful for the opportunity to talk about my Winter Texans and all that they do, and thanks to the Paynes. You guys are great partners, and anytime I need anything, you're always there for me. So I appreciate you guys.
We appreciate y'all too. And also, let's remind folks here, Winter Texan Expo is coming up
January 16th and 17th in McAllen, and the 18th in Brownsville.
Okay, a one-day event in Brownsville.
Can I redo that? Yeah, let's say Winter Texan Expo, January 16th and 17th in McAllen at the McAllen Convention Center, and January 18th at the Brownsville Event Center.
Okay. And the cruises are already paid up and done. Those are already booked up. And
we have one going in November.
In November.
And then, of course, we have our next cruise with Kristi for 2025. We're already planning 2025 and 2026. It's crazy.
Got to get ahead of the curve.
That's right.
And then stay tuned for more info late February, around the 24th, for a poker run.
Yes.
So all you people out there on 2 and 3 wheels, because I know you like them trikes too, be on the lookout for that. Welcome Home RGV and Welcome Home RGV.com, the lovely Ms. Kristi Collier and crew. So thank you very much for joining us today. Once again, this has been an edition of Payne Auto Talk with me, your host, Chris Marshall of the Payne Street Team, brought to you by Payne Auto Group Valley-wide and PayneAutoGroup.com, where we have what you want. Loca tu quieres, regardless, and we are gone.